Hi you guys, welcome back to the channel. Alright you guys, it's another week of wrestling recap, and this week we're going to implement two new things at the end of the episode. So, every single week, I'm going to give you my WTF moment, which I don't really need to explain, but I'm also going to give you my MVW, which means my most valuable wrestler for that week. I think this will be a fun way to highlight a couple things that had us scratching our heads and a superstar that had us really intrigued and engaged. So that's what we're going to do at the end of the show. But before we get to that, we have to run down all the things that happened in wrestling. We had Friday Night SmackDown, we had NXT No Mercy, and then we had WWE Raw last night. So let's start off with Friday Night SmackDown. And to be honest with you, I don't feel like anything major happened here. We saw the return of Jacob Fatu, which I'm super pumped about. He returned and just smashed Drew McIntyre's whiny butt, and told him where to go, which I love because Drew, this whiny character of Drew, like it's so fun, but it's also so fun to see people like check it and put it into place. So I love that Jacob Fatu seems to be having a feud with Drew McIntyre. I am hoping we're seeing more and more of him because his absence was too long. And we had the Street Profits qualifying for the number one contention spot for the tag titles. And to be honest with you, I still feel like this is going to lead to a Street Profits breakup. I feel like the whole narrative of having the Street Profits qualify and then win, we've already been there, done that. So I think that they're going to shake them up. Plus, we've seen Bo Dallas trying to get into their heads a little bit, and I think he's going to succeed with that. And then we had the Open Challenge for Sami Zayn's title, and Javon Evans is the one to accept that Open Challenge. And let me tell you, he showed up and showed out. I am such a huge fan of Javon Evans. I have talked about him on this channel numerous times. I will continue to talk about him numerous times because I cannot wait to see what else he does. I think he's such a bright star, and he went toe to toe with Sami. So that boy, whenever they're ready, he's ready for the main roster for sure. But I feel like he has a little more time in NXT to shine. And then we had the biggest match, which was Nia versus Jade versus Tiffy for the women's title, and to see who was moving on to face Stephanie at Crown Jewel. And to be honest with you, I'm not surprised that Tiffy won here. I just, as much as I want to see Jade with a title in her hand, and thought that they might do it because we're kind of running it back, I didn't feel like this was the appropriate moment or the appropriate time to do it, just because there's not as much history between Jade and Stephanie, and there's not a whole lot of history with Stephanie and Tiffany, but they've had a little more interaction than her and Jade has. So I just didn't feel like that this was the appropriate time to pull that trigger on Jade. However, I will say this match was a mess. A mess. Like, I don't know if it was because Jade got hurt. I don't know if the ref messed up. I don't know who messed up, but the ending had us all scratching our heads and very confused. So I don't know if Tiffy was supposed to be the winner, honestly. I don't know if Jade was supposed to interfere there, but she got hurt. And if y'all seen her cut on her eye, oh my gosh, girl's a beast, because that thing was horrible looking. But I just feel like it was after that happened, after Jade took that injury, everything was like shaken up and everything was kind of off then. So I feel like the ending was supposed to be bigger than what it was. But because Jade got hurt, I feel like that's why it wasn't as exciting as we anticipated, to be honest with you. Either way, we know that we have Tiffy versus Stephanie now set up for Crown Jewel. Our Crown Jewel matchups are coming together slowly. Of course, we know that it is literally a week away, you guys, which is crazy to me because we just got over WrestlePalooza and now we're moving on. And it is at 6 a.m. my time. So your girl don't know if she's going to be watching it live. That is very early on a Saturday when I have to wake up at 5 a.m. every other day. So I don't know if I'm going to be watching it live, to be determined, but it is coming up very, very soon. So we are going to have to continue to get these match cards built up, and I expect to see even more added to the slate next Friday on SmackDown as well. Maybe Julia can get in there and defend her title because I don't like the fact that she's not really defended her title at a PLE much. If at all, honestly, I don't know if she's defended it at all at a PLE. So I feel like she needs more. She needs some momentum. But yeah, overall, Friday Night SmackDown was not so bad, not so great. It was kind of in the middle. But I think that ending definitely overshadowed everything. And then NXT No Mercy was on Saturday. I did not, full disclosure, I did not get to see all of it. I got to see bits and pieces of it, but I did not get to see all of it. So I'm just going to talk about the pieces that I did get to see and my takeaways from it. So, number one starts with Lola Vice and JC Jane. I for sure thought Lola Vice was going to win this title. And of course, someone had to interfere, and JC retained her title. But I really thought this was Lola Vice's moment. I wouldn't be surprised if they run this back again eventually down the line. But we do know that Jasmine Nix is no longer with NXT. So that person that interfered is more than likely taking her spot. And I feel like we all know who it was. But WWE has not really confirmed or said. We'll probably find out on NXT tonight, to be honest with you. But we all have a feeling that it's Lainey Reed. So I'm interested to see where this goes, but I would not be surprised if we run this JC Jane Lola Vice thing back because I think honestly, and don't get me wrong, the women and the NXT is stacked. You have a lot of very talented women, but I think the way Lola Vice has built herself up recently, I think she deserves to have the next shot at that title. And then we had the match with Ricky Saints and Oba that I did get to see. I'm not surprised that Ricky won here. I felt like it was time to make that move. I felt like it was time to take that title off of Oba. And I am excited to see what Ricky can do. And to be honest with you, I have a feeling that Oba's going to the main roster, and I'm going to be very excited to see what he can do too. I hope he feuds with like I don't know, like a Bronson Reed or like Drew McIntyre, like any of those guys. I feel like he could go toe to toe with Rusev. I mean, to give him a very strong feud, I feel like that could go well. I just feel like Oba is ready for that spotlight, and he could go literally toe to toe with any of those guys, no problem. So I'm excited to see where he goes, but I'm also excited to see Ricky Saints because I think Ricky Saints is a tremendous star. I think he has the whole package with the in ring, the promo, the character, everything. So I'm excited to see what he does, where he goes, and how his title reign goes, to be honest with you guys. And then of course, we move on to WWE Raw. I did not see, like I said, I did not watch the full NXT, so that is all that I have saw. That is all that I've been able to catch up on. I know there were some other things going on, but that's really all that I have seen so far. So I'm not going to talk about anything that I didn't see because obviously I didn't watch it. But then we move on to Monday Night Raw, and Monday Night Raw was a decent episode. We kicked off the show with Stephanie, or not Stephanie, backtrack. We kicked off the show with Rhea, Io, Asuka, Kyrie again. We saw that they ended last week with Kyrie and Io basically beating crap out of Rhea or Kyrie and Asuka. Oh my gosh, I need a square. Kyrie and Asuka beating the crap out of Rhea and Io and finally turning on Io and turning heel. Asuka is full heel mode. She is full heel mode, ready to cause some chaos. Kyrie is in that middle of like, I don't know what to do, but kicking the crap out of somebody kind of feels good, so I'm gonna do it. But it's really entertaining to see her conflicting with the whole thing and then to see Io conflicting with the whole thing because we had a moment of hesitation last night with Io about not turning her back on Asuka, but then they came out and attacked Rhea, and she ultimately decided that Rhea has been there for her, and we're gonna ride this together. So now we know we are getting Rhea and Io versus Asuka and Kairi at Crown Jewel, which I'm excited for. I think that's a great match. I always love seeing Rhea and Io in the ring together. They make magic together, so I don't think this is going to be any different than that. I think it's going to be a good one, and it's a good match to add to the match card. And to be honest with you, it has a little more of a history than what we've had out of some matches lately. So I'm pretty excited about that one. I think it's going to be good. Then, of course, we had the whole Seth Cody promo because we know that they're fighting at Crown Jewel. These two guys have history and they're really building up this match at Crown Jewel. And I'm not going to give you who I think should win yet, but I will say that this should be a good match. These two always seem to make again magic. They're like that Rhea and Io where they can come together and make good matches that you want to watch and that you want to see. So I think this one is going to be no different than that. I am interested in seeing where the WWE goes because you have Cody Rhodes, who is your quarterback, your go to guy, versus Seth Rollins, who has been your go to guy for years. And I'm excited to see which way they pivot to more. Because I think it opens up a lot of doors either way you go, and I'm intrigued to see it. I will say, actually, you know what? I'll say this later because we still have to talk about that. So I'll say this later because we have to talk about that. But then we saw Becky have a little discussion, if you want to call it, backstage with Maxine again, and I love that they're giving Maxine this spotlight. I think she is more talented than we give her credit for, so I like that she is in this storyline with her. I'm hoping that this leads to another title defense for Maxine because I think she deserves that. I think she deserves to be in the picture a little more. But ultimately, I just feel like AJ Lee is going to be the one to dethrone Becky. So anything that she does up until that point will honestly just be for fun because I feel like AJ is definitely going to be the one to dethrone her. And then, of course, we had Rusev versus Dom for the IC title, and thank goodness, Dom retained. He is still champion, which is the right call. I didn't know how this match was gonna go, to be honest with you, because they have built Rusev up to be this like tough enforcer, dude, and Dom, he, let's be honest with you, like he wins by weaseling his way in the win, and that's his whole persona and his character. But with this tough like bruiser like Rusev, are you gonna be able to do that? I didn't know if Judgment Day was going to interfere. They didn't, and I was glad for that, to be honest with you. Obviously, Dom still cheated to win. That's what he does. That's his whole persona, and so if they went away from that, I'd be shocked. But he pulled out that victory, and he pulled out that victory without the Judgment Day. So that just shows me that they are even more thinking about getting rid of that Dom Judgment Day connection because I feel like having him win apart from them not having to interfere, them not having to interrupt, really kind of shows that okay, he's here by himself to show up and he can make things happen. He doesn't need them type thing. So I'm interested to see where that goes. I definitely think that that is going to boil over soon. I don't think that they're going to be together much longer, especially after Dom did not interfere with JD last week. Finn was mad about that. The Judgment Day were nowhere to be found this week. So I definitely think that that's going to open a lot of doors for that to explode. And then let's talk about the main event. We had Jay and Jimmy versus Braun and Bronson in a tornado tag team match. And this match was really good, you guys. Honestly, I feel like any match that these four have been in has been really good. But we knew something big was going to happen because we've seen these guys weeks after weeks after weeks. We knew something had to happen here, and what happened? The return of our tribal chief. OTC is back. He is done filming his movie. He is back. He is ready to go, and I'm so excited. You guys, there is never going to be a time when I am not excited for Roman Reigns to be back on my screen, and you guys can hate on him all you want to, because there's a lot of people that hate on Roman, but he brings a lot of excitement for me. Like, I truly enjoy watching him. What I will say is, I saw at the end Roman and Jay hyping each other up, being there for each other, and Big Jim's in the back, and he's not so sure about it. So that dynamic is going to be very interesting because we know Jim did not like the way Roman acted before. And he's not so keen on this, like, Roman is still our guy thing. Like, he called out Jay for acting like Roman. So I'm interested to see the three of them dynamic. But what I will say is, Roman and Jay is about to cause some chaos because those two together, especially in the mindset that Jay is in right now, is going to be a wild ride. So I'm ready for it. I'm here for it. I'm ready to see what they do. And so my thing earlier that I was going to talk about is Roman. I feel like Roman is definitely going to have a factor in this Cody and Seth match at Crown Jewel. I don't know what he's gonna do. I don't know if he's gonna go against Seth because he's got history there. Cody, because Cody took his title. I don't know, but I feel like the big dog will be there in some form or fashion. I don't think that he misses out that opportunity because he has history with both of those guys. So I will be interested to see where that goes. I expect the WWE to continue to build for Crown Jewel on Friday Night SmackDown this week. I'm very excited to see the NXT Invasion tonight. That with the TNA will be super, super fun and interesting. The Hardy Boys are back on my screen, which I always love. So I'm super excited for that. I feel like we are in a better space than we were right after WrestlePalooza. So as long as we can continue to improve, I think we're going to have a great few months of wrestling come up. And I honestly have a feeling that, as we sit right now, Survivor Series I think is going to be really, really good. I think the Survivor Series is going to be great. So, it is the end of the show, and I told you at the beginning that we're going to do our WTF moment and our MVW. So, my WTF moment this week, of course, is that ending to Nia Jax, Tiffy, and Jade. It had us all scratching our head. It was a 1-2. What do we do next? It was so weird, so awkward, and that is definitely our WTF moment. My MVW, my most valuable wrestler, and I went back and forth between two of them because Io is giving me all the drama right now and I'm loving her. But I have to say Javon Evans. Boy is booked and busy and performing and showing out, and I have to give him his props for that because he's got me intrigued and I cannot wait to see what he does. So Javon Evans is my MVW, and of course that Tiffy ending is my WTF. But as always, subscribe to my channel, follow me on all socials, and I'll see you guys next time.